Um, Hello everybody. Like how his name says, I'm an internet critic, trans woman who talks about obscure games and American games, um, focusing a lot of the obscure kind of video game history and retro titles, and I talk about what I think the games I talk about and play are cute, neat, even if not good, very interesting. And this is gonna be a very interesting game. This is gonna be something special from the other, different from the other ones I played. I saw love in videos so far. So I think I will just start this to so often. So welcome to King of Castle for the PS1. I hope everybody enjoyed that cutscene, but it was pretty good. This game has a very important story. You are written by Bug with human powers, and now you get angry and beat and everything, and it's that spaces. So I think I need to explain what even this is. I guess what genre this thing is. That's not what. Well, so this is basically what's considered a Kusuga game. Kusuga, I'm not very good at myself anymore. Which basically means like a city game. It's basically just I think it in Japanese and from what I understand, overall East Asian internet circles. That's basically just like bad games, but bad in a way that was just incredibly broken or weird. In a way that's very like doesn't ironic, even sometimes sincere attachment to them. King of Kwasa, would you fit into that? This this because again it's kind of one of my favorite things, honestly, because a lot of things interesting. I always been interested by what's considered bad games, because even the worst Axel games have a lot of interesting ideas to it, and there's just a lot of like when it's sent to Kusuga games, there's a lot of like it's often they're like somebody is like label of work and valuable labor and like where side they often are like emotional, like very honestly made projects with very like interesting and like kind of bold ideas of gameplay and ideas that just kind of often just don't work for various ways, but nonetheless are incredibly sound. And I think King of Castle is one of these episodes because the idea that this faction having this faction having focus games and just the same like themselves being done in several other games and even stuff like in different forms in something like the accommodation with the one like Warriors of War like Katamari Damacy. And it's an idea that has very like as a gameplay company has a lot of potential to go. That's to be interesting. It does a lot about this kind of. There's just a lot of sound to it. Like a lot of customer games. Because just how honest it is. Like it has a bizarre story about alien bugs and everything, trying to infect them, get and how to destroy those these bizarre cutscenes, those bizarre sound effects, those bizarre music, those honest to goodness. And I don't particularly like using the word so bad it's good or something like that, or even guilty pleasure, because I think these works are just that kind of biased to work, even the most bizarre. Even the most bizarre work has a lot of things written on it, not just because it's that they did it in bad makes it good.
なんだその格好は。まったく目障りだ。帰れ。
ここ石野、お前を縛り、苦しめるすべてを壊すのだ。さあさあ、否定しろ。
And I think that's why I find this interesting because what I find interesting about stuff like about like King of Glass and stuff like that is not that its failures make like that they are so bad that it makes it good, but it's more that it feels just give an interesting thing for like most actual use of them and just honestly this is some like I prefer sometimes something so weirdly like this. And so with like the animation, the one in direction for this is all incredibly stiff in ways that you often cannot control this. But anyway, it feels incredibly hard to control in a way that often feels very difficult to even play the game. Just moving directions and wanting to assume that X feels incredibly stiff. Not even time control, just kind of bizarre stiffness. But I think that's kind of the sum of it, honestly. Like I kind of sometimes just prefer this really broken stiffness. Because when you have like a game like this, just when it's just having everything like just smashing things because of bug till you where this music plays and everything's so stiff. This kind of just a very like absurd sound to it, but in an absurd sound it feels like not just in spite of the game, but that the game kind of intended in a different way. Like it's a game about you as a gameplay way about to smash things, and being fat at time makes smash things. So there's always like a bit of honesty, knowing, joking with that in a way that's just not there's an issue with the Irish good because I'm not understanding when people from Western countries all in just all in that it does not work for me. They understand and I think that's why we appreciate stuff like this because it just does a very honest trying, very honest just trying something and it's stiff and bizarre and clunky but in a way that gives it some feel in a way that's like it's a known thing of like saying yeah, for something that's weird and bizarre to something that's positive. I think it goes even just besides that. It's just but stuff like this just feels stuff like made it very emotional. They tend to feel like very emotional in a way of like the connections you make with the game. Like often talk about connections you make with games with that sort of space and how you play it. But often it's just the connections of finding this bizarre thing and playing it. And there very much like I mentioned sometimes so much people live a lot like on media, yes. On media in a way is made past by a lot of the people working on it. And you can feel a lot of passion and stuff like this, even if it's broken, even if it's bizarre, there's a lot of stuff to it because of that. So basically, he's I guess fire king person. Basically, after a while, you become bigger and bigger. That extraction gets users. Is that very good gameplay function for stuff like for a game like this? For this type of rulebook where you just become more and consume more. There's a lot of sometimes you use that might honestly use that in the way doing in Thailand when the war gets bigger and bigger, something more and more. And this kind of feels me very inspired by like Kaiju and like Tokusatsu familiar stuff like even just Kamen Rider and stuff like that. And just the transform and getting bigger and bigger. This feels a bit inspired by Kaiju movies in specific. Of course, this has its issues, of course, like I mentioned. It's a ghost game for a lot of things. It's the walking animation system is there from the first round. The gameplay is very kind of repetitive. I guess like there's an absolute sum to it. I'm so inside, but there's kind of repetitiveness of having this time limit power thing is just destroying this stuff without a lot of things. You can do jumps, you can do attacks. The most is just kind of they must be awkward repetitions. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff to this, but of course there's those reasons why this is because yeah, there's a lot of very interesting, fascinating ideas in this, in the way that a lot of flower games like this are interesting looking ideas. But yeah, like enemies just move a lot, just enemies just, it's hard to hit the enemies, it feels like there's just slippery between you. And even for PS1, the graphics on this are still fucking well, but in a way that's very similar. Like I really kind of like this, the roughness of the graphics. And each level becomes more and more with more enemies and stuff like that. And yeah, and as you get attacked, you get this thing in the video that messes up the game a lot. you get to do. But there's a lot of like guys who express themselves. You can imagine a lot of boxing. There's been a lot of kind of some of the local movies of the area. The premises of like becoming a master and military and some anime as well. And not having no control to just inspiration so he feels inspired by that and then a Zana way or like Pope Zana way. So if this kind of moves on to kind of this bizarre rock soundtrack, that kind of slaps. It's not the most unique thing, but it's more it's kind of somewhat repetitive, but it slaps on kind of. And a lot of like the tokens have used and stuff like but I transform into master everything to like used it. So a lot of some of it is just both but using this someone use this for the like not having self-control, but like that whole the only thing in the pain that makes you suffer and everything, and that pain leading to the pain and then I have that pain leading to transforming into a master and everything. Who knows if King of Class was trying to put automatic that? I don't know. This feels inspired, but it's probably this is the Pope way more than just actually think about it. And yeah, the camera for this is incredibly broken and it's when you want it's a whole mess. And it's hard to know what to do because the levels become more and more and it's not just destroy everything you need to have to. You have literally you are literally an attack man, but and the game doesn't actually tell you what to do. It just lets you to just wander around. Like I said, that's always quite it's like it has very interesting ideas, it's based on, but it's also this. Like I said, you should really check this out. There's a lot of. This is not like one of my favorite things. I really, if you want something that's different, it's not this, but if you want to like to taste, I guess one of the classics, I would recommend the Dead Crimson. It's like very bizarre, like Wage Soto games. Dead Crimson 1 and 2, I think I cannot remember if it was 4 or something, but. Well, if it's the fourth one, I'm just thinking it's like a remake. But I know there's an issue with the thing. Everything's sad for me. But yeah, there's that version is a thing. I really want to play it one of these days. It's this bizarre Kusuyo was it? Soto series, and the first two games, the first one is kinda the second one is why most people know about it. It's very amazing. The third one is actually it's kind of I guess so the thing around Kusuko games that it's basically fun made around kind of badass games of Walkers games, and the third one is actually kind of an okay as way so they just kind of abandon it because Disney, so not abandon it, but fans don't like it because it's just kind of interesting because they rebel about being actually a good game, but the badness of the second one, that game's a game. But yeah, Because the running speed is not even just the running animations with the low poly effect. Like I mentioned, even with the other games, it's just I've released, just the ideas it proposes and just even just the bizarreness that I enjoy. There's a lot of innocence and cool things. I just it's like a lot of people in that. That's why I play a lot of the games, even with other flaws. It's just something more emotional about them. That being the amount they'll just an honest try to do something, even if they fail a lot of the time, of course. Because that's why they're kind of they have very interesting ideas often. They're very interesting. They're very like I'm sorry this again, but they're very much labor props often a lot of time with like very different groups of people. And there's a lot of honestness over the most polished thing, over the best game. And I just wanted something that feels like emotionally invested in it in a way. I'm emotionally invested in the game. And honestly, I'm very emotionally invested in stuff like this because it's weird and bizarre, but also because I love funny. I love just saying things like this because I like seeing people's work, even if it's fine, even if it's bad. But it's just inside seeing people's work, you know, in every single part of me, because it often just brings interesting ideas, even if it's not the best thing ever. It's just there's a lot of just honestness that I crave in it, that I waited deeply want. I actually do not know if there's a wall, invisible wall there. I could go there, but now it's broken because there's. Oh yeah, the game master just walks out of time. Oh yeah, no, there's an actually invisible wall there. But the advantage was just playing some quick little mechanics. Basically, you have your health meter, and that the yellow bar is basically just the time limit thing. That's basically just how much you have to stay in that farm. And if you're not finished the level before going, you die. Hey. It's a very mechanical simple game for like something that's kind of has the idea of getting more complex, somewhat complex, but just becomes still very simple overall. Like you have a different form model, but besides that, I don't think there's any mechanical difference between like this and the human form. This might be a bit slow, but even then, the animation was like a bit slow. So there's also some confident because the game does just keep destroying everything, but does because of how kind of awkward it is to destroy everything. Just have sometimes it's better just to escape, and it's not actually that, and hitting an enemy is actually incredibly hard to do because how the gameplay is works. So it's a game that we also first time more, but also it's incredibly hard to actually destroy things. But this destroy enemies, so it's a bit more easier, that's for the opposite of course. But yeah, overall I think this is an incredibly interesting game. I really recommend checking out this in more good games like this. Because they're very interesting games and I enjoy interesting games a lot. I enjoy these type of games a lot. And I would really recommend them. And I really recommend people just checking out more games like this because if you want stuff to space something very interesting because games don't have that. But yeah, like always, but yeah, like always, have a background. Because I'm a primarily Twitch streamer. Because you can find me on Twitch, and I'm streaming on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. As obscurest games normally. But sometimes I went to more non-nice games if I feel like it. I have a Twitter, of course. You can follow me where I tweet very good tweets by people by very good people that follow me. And that is a force that I make quality, if not very always storytelling tweets. And I have a Patreon if you think this is good content, or if my streams are good content, or just want to support me and help me live for my lifetime, you can support me on Patreon. Like always, link in the description. And like always, just thanks for everybody that sees these videos, and